Hello guys, is this the best travel enduro you can buy for money in the year 2024? I rode the new BMW R 1300 GS here in southern Spain for you.
Dear viewers, I will save you 3 embarrassing seconds when you go to the new R 1300 GS to test ride it. You will look for the ignition somewhere here. But no, the ignition key is over there. R 1300 GS, very difficult test. Only the highest standards are expected of this bike, and no bike has a vaster target group. That's why I'm unsure about how hard I should be on her. Some ride it daily, some go on long tours, some ride it to its limit, and some take it easy. Therefore, I'll try to find the Goldilocks zone in my reporting. It's gonna be a very difficult day because of that. Alright, we're about to begin. I just got the keys and we're gonna start with the base version. You have the new buttons. You have the new multi-switch here to the left, which you can set your favorite quick bind to. I'm torn between the windshield and the heated grips. Right now it's not that warm, but in an hour the sun is gonna shine on us and we're gonna have a beautiful day in front of us in which we can get to test this beast. Alright, let's start. The new GS 1300 has a new engine. There are a lot of videos about it already all over the internet. I wrote an article about it, a very detailed one in German, however. I'll link it down below. I'm an engineer, and from an engineering point of view, it's a really good engine. Such a precisely dosable engine in every situation. Is a very, very, very good engine. It's a real dream. And that's, I don't say that because I'm a real BMW fanboy. I'm acting as if I had never ridden a BMW Boxer engine before. We now have a 6-speed, a very useful 6-speed transmission with a longer transmission overall. So if the 5th and 6th gear is rather long, you can cruise down the road very comfortably. But you now also have to shift down. You have to go from 6th gear to 3rd gear if you want to ride it a bit more sporty. The engine is very, very, very gentle in every situation, and I don't want to compare it too much to the older model because I will make another video about it. So I'm gonna try to be very neutral now, and then we'll make another video about it. So, what are the differences between the two models? The old one has a rather old look about it in comparison to the new one. The new look is very modern, and you can see the headlights is way more compact and way more sporty. It's also better, and it has the integrated corner ring lights. The beak is still the same. The new variant has different windshield options and configurations here. You can move it, you need to move it with your hand, otherwise you can also buy the electronically changeable one. The tail lever remains. You can find some differences over here, and also the suspension on top is different. So The GS overall is lighter now and feels way more way lighter. The new GS doesn't dive in when the old one didn't either. But this sensation that you get when braking, the sensation of your suspension diving down, you don't have that with the GS. And even when cornering and if the street conditions aren't perfect, you still have great feedback. Completely new design is the engine. The old GS and the new GS both feature a 2-cylinder boxer engine, liquid-cooled and air-cooled. You have about 50 cc more in the new GS. The engine is way more compact because the transmission was moved down. So everything was made to save more weight. However, I have to say, look for the last time at the tubular steel trellis. Obviously, BMW says that the new frame is way better and everything. However, I know that tubular steel trellis are more expensive in their production. So I don't think it's only the technical development, but there are also money-saving reasons behind it. At the end of the day, the motorcycle needs to be fine for everyday use, and this is simply an improvement. So how did they manage to save weight? With the frame, with the engine, the battery, we now have a lithium-ion battery inside. Otherwise, these were the main changes. We have a new seat. It's a more compact seat. We have different variations of the seat. Then, let's test it real quick. Now I'm sat on the old GS. You sit inside the motorcycle a bit. I'm used to it, but it's a very inactive position. You're not on top of the GS as with the new one. So also for the passenger with the new GS, you have different seat possibilities and different pegs that you can buy. So you have way more options with the new GS. So I can't but talk very good about the engine. The same goes for traction control. In this dynamic mode, when you give it the beans, you have so much power. When leaving the corners, you feel like you're on a super sport. The traction control works so well. And wait, now I'm gonna have to talk about the power lever, the suspension as well. There is so much mechanical traction that you have to hold on tight. You can also feel the front tire becoming very light. And you almost feel like you're on a racing machine. Very, very, very cool. And I also love how the engine likes to be revved. I have hit the limiter, whereas with the old GS, I mostly rode it in lower RPMs. We have 145 horsepower at 7,750 RPM and 149 Newton meters at 6,500 RPM. This makes the new Boxer 1300 GS engine the most potent Boxer engine ever made by BMW. The new frame with the changes of the engine and the new battery and the changes of the suspension, they managed to reduce the weight of the BMW GS R 1300 by 12 kilogram. You have a very long list of optionals, but you have as standard the BMW Full Integral ABS Pro for driving modes, the MSR, the dynamic brake assistant, hill start control, dynamic traction control, and heated grips. You have 149 millimeters of travel in front and 210 millimeters in the back. The new GS has a double disc with 310 millimeters of diameter, and in the rear you have a 285 millimeter disc. Sadly, we already had to use the intelligent emergency call, which works very, very well and I found very useful. The new Headlight Pro is an optional and has an integrated cornering light. We have a 19-inch wheel in the front and a 17-inch wheel in the back, and a wheelbase of 1,518 millimeters. The curb weight is 237 kilograms. The Boxer engine is very smooth, even when you keep the engine at low RPMs. It's perfect. Seriously, there's nothing to say about it. If you sat on it and closed your eyes, don't do it, but you wouldn't know that it's a Boxer engine. Some will probably say, that's horrible. But from a technological point of view, this is a huge step forward. No, not everybody's going to be a fan of it, but it works very, very well. The clutch, the engine drag torque control, MSR, called MSR, it all works so well. The anti-hopping clutch works so well. You can see here the timing chains. You have it on one side and the other side, so the engine looks as though it was cut, asymmetrical. But from the top, it looks very symmetrical. That's because the cylinder bore has been moved. The one is a bit more in front, the other is moved a bit more back. That's why you have the timing chain in front and in the back. That's an optical. From top, the engine looks very symmetrical now. When giving it the beans, theoretically, the whole engine should be turning into... You can see that the timing chain, one timing chain is on this side and the other is on the other side. So the engine almost looks as if it was cut. When you're sat on top of it, the Boxer engine looks very symmetrical. That's because the cylinder bore has been moved. One is in front and the other is a bit more on the back. And crankshaft has been moved, which leaves more space for the paralever and which then again gives more traction when off-road. If it really works, that I will find out when riding this beast off-road. The electronic riding assistance systems offer many settings, but you can also set them too much. I hope electronics don't become a topic where I'll talk too long, but I think so. Here you can see the assisting settings. You enter into the suspension, damping configuration, and then you can choose. You can turn it up, you can turn it down. I'll leave it as is. And then you can see that you have three possibilities: road, dynamic, and enduro. Suspension, we'll leave that as it is. Cruise control, you have the two possibilities. Comfortable, which leaves about 3 kilometers of distance, and dynamic. Then you have the front collision warning when riding on highways and the system sees that there is a danger. It gives you a warning pulse, which then forces the engine to the motorcycle to brake. And you can also set the braking assistance. I can tell him to give me this pulse a bit later. Then you have the lane change warning. I'll leave that on. Then you have the hill start climb assistant, which I'll leave on manual so I can activate it with my brakes. Under vehicle settings, you don't have too much to do. I clicked a few things here and there, but nothing special. Everything seems fine. I set the brightness a bit higher because I don't know how bright it's going to be today. And then I unchecked a few things that I don't need. So I really only need the usual information. Okay, I already connected my phone. Bluetooth works very well, and navigation works well. Everything perfect. But as I said, you can set too many things or turn off too many things. If you're in this Enduro Pro mode, where the engine drag torque control is off, if you leave dirt roads and go back onto normal roads with which maybe is in a bad state, then you will find out how it used to be to ride a motorcycle with an engine this big. They're gonna wake you up and tell you, hey, you gotta learn how to ride this. So be careful, don't turn off too many assistance systems. They are very useful. We have a huge engine and they keep you safe and make the motorcycle very usable. I'm usually a very open person when it comes to electronics and everything. However, what I didn't like is this collision warning assistant, which is which can tell you with a few braking impulses that there is a danger. And this is a very useful feature on the highway, but in reality I was more stressed by it than it was useful. And when riding on twisty roads, it malfunctions, and then I had situations where I was giving it the beans and the motorcycle was braking without me telling it. It just thought that there was a danger when there was none. So then I turned it off, and that made the whole ride way more comfortable. When riding normally, it's very useful feature and can be a very nice feature. But for me, I turned it off. Otherwise, the HSC, I'm not gonna live. I don't want to live without it anymore. It was so cool. You can do whatever you want. The same goes for traction control. Awesome, works very, very well, absolutely perfect. The ABS Pro, however, was not 100% satisfying for me. You have a combined ABS, so when braking in front, you do so in the rear, and vice versa. But sometimes you have these pulses that you feel when braking. Maybe most people don't really notice, but when riding it at its limits, I want precise feedback from the motorcycle, and sometimes it gave me a bit too much feedback from the ABS. But maybe only 1 to 2% of viewers care or will notice it. So, I don't know. Sometimes I ask myself how much critique should I present, but well, anyways, I just wanted to say it to be as correct as possible. How could you have ever been satisfied without a radar cruise control? It was so nice. It was so great to use. You see on the highway when somebody is coming close to you, you're notified. Great. The radar keeps the distance from whoever is in front of you. It's called ACC, which, however, costs. The dynamic cruise control, however, doesn't cost anything. The difference between the two systems is best explained by Rainer Finks, the man responsible for this and for this motorcycle. The DCC also has the automatic braking included, right? But then you have the ACC. What's the difference? I don't know. All right, it's pretty easy. Now imagine you set the speed to 100 kilometers and then you ride up a mountain. It rides 100 kilometers an hour. But when riding down a hill, it accelerates. With the DCC, you have the brake that activates automatically because we have the new full integral ABS system. So even when riding down, you have the motorcycle on 100 kilometers fixed without it accelerating. When you have ACC, however, you have a radar which scans the street. And then when you have an obstacle in front of you, the system automatically adapts the speed to your necessities. So you only have the radar when you have ACC. Every manufacturer calls it in a different way. We call it ACC. And then you also have the forward collision warning integrated. Sorry for the stupid question. Everybody names it in a different way. Thank you, Rainer, for the differences between ACC and DCC systems. I liked it. Very usable. In my opinion, it was very necessary for the BMW to get it. Its rivals already have it. So there are three things which are very difficult to talk about in any way, because you have so many possibilities of choosing between seats and seat heights. You have the rally seat, the high seat, the low seat, the standard seat. Then you have the different foot peg variations that you can choose. Then you have different brake levers and clutch levers, and then you can also get the sport suspension, which is 20 millimeters higher, or the adaptive height control, which lowers the motorcycle by 30 millimeters when riding it at lower speeds than 25 kilometers an hour. So the lowest of the low seats is 800 millimeters. The highest with the suspension is 890 millimeters. So you have 9 centimeters of difference. And you can just choose all of this when buying this motorcycle. And then you think the configurator is done. And then you think you're done with the configurator. However, you're not. Then you have to choose the windshields. You can get the deflectors. You can leave them away. Or you can get the trophy windshield, which is a bit more compact. Then you can also leave this luggage system away. It looks like an enduro racing machine. It completely changes its appearance. So the options you have when configuring this motorcycle is insane. You will probably have to ask yourself what you want and what you don't want. Some optionals are just there for BMW to make money, seriously, and you're gonna have to add them because of the packages, even if you didn't want them. But the Japanese rivals cost almost the same, and Ducati is even more expensive. It cost me 24,400 in Germany, which is not too much in comparison to its rivals or the older GS. I would choose the GS Trophy look, 830 euros more. Yeah, no problem. I'm gonna choose that. Now we have the different packages. The dynamic package, quick shifter pro. Yeah, I need that. Dynamic suspension adjustment. Yes. pro riding modes, yes, and sport brakes, yes. So this is a package I will definitely get, and which I would recommend everyone get, because nobody's gonna buy a GS without the dynamic package. What else do we got? We have, in this package, we got the riding assistant, which is basically the ACC we talked about earlier with the lane change warning. But we also have the nice headlight. I personally would choose this as well. Comfort package, what do we got? The windshield electronically adjustable. I don't really need that. Passenger package. I would try to get only the passenger package, and the touring package. Yeah, it goes the same for the touring package as well, basically. Most of you are probably gonna get the luggage system and the GPS as well, but I don't really need all of this. So I'm gonna choose dynamic package and the innovation package. I definitely recommend everyone get the dynamic package. It's really worth it. Then, oh no, don't need this as well. Nah, no. Adaptive height control. Yeah, great feature. Many of you are probably gonna use it. I don't really need it. Enduro Package Pro. Now we have other producers who sell these things as well, so I'm not gonna take it. Yeah, nothing special. Yes. Heated seats, I don't really need it. I'm happy with the heated grips. No, I don't really need sports suspension. Here, this is what I want. This is the end boss for me. I really want this centralized vehicle locking system. I really liked it. But I can't get it. God damn it. God damn it. Why do I need to get this stupid package just because I wanted this locking system? Life is hard. Whatever. So in reality, I don't really need too many features. I would take the LED headlight. Many of you are gonna take the luggage systems. I really only need the top case. But the luggage system I got because of my touring package. So let's go. Let's continue. No, I don't really need this. This windshield, I want it. I really want it. You don't need it, but I like it. And everything that I like is important for me, obviously. So I'm just gonna get it. It's this very neutral, definitely very neutral. And Vario top case, yes, I need it. I need it. So my GS would cost 24,444 euros. I dare say that it's probably among the cheaper ones, and that most of you are gonna have a more expensive configuration. Let me know. Definitely let me know how much your GS cost in the comments down below and where you tried to configure it, in which country. I really want to see the difference between the countries. However, there are some things you need to consider. The center stand, I don't really need it, right? I have a cardan shaft. However, it also protects the motorcycle from debris. Footpegs, another difficult question. With these, you really don't feel any vibrations. It was really great. Seating position better than before. Seating is simply great. This boxer engine, you don't feel any vibrations. It's really, really great. And I find it fascinating because you perceive the mechanical things way more. That's because the exhaust is way more quiet. Way quieter than it was in the past. The same goes for the intake sound. So on a mechanical level, it is a bit louder than in the past. But then you ride it, and then you think, oh, but I don't really feel it. And that's a good thing. Everything feels very clinical, very precise. So what else do we need to talk about? Finally, BMW have finally returned to Brembo. I tried them. They feel great. I asked the responsible who made the brakes, and he said to me, yeah, it's Brembo. So yeah, you have stock brakes or sport brakes you can get. These brakes probably cost BMW a bit more, but the final price is still fine, so we as consumers don't really care. Only the ABS is not perfect, but the brakes work perfectly. The entire chassis is new, right? So you can brake all the way to the limits of this motorcycle and still feel safe. The electronics and also the Telelever Pro make it so the forks don't really dive in too deep, so you can really brake, and the engine and the motorcycle remains very stable. And you're probably gonna say, oh, this dude has been talking for ages and hasn't lost a word about its handling. The telelever is new, the weight is lower, the position of the engine is lower, the center of mass is different, the frame is different. There is so many new things. And in combination with that, you have a new swing and a longer swing arm. So basically a completely new chassis. And now I should be able to tell you, oh, it has 12 kilograms less. Yeah, I'm gonna notice it. I don't know. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know. It's a new GS. It's a different GS. And I'm gonna tell you something. The motorcycle, for a few centimeters, you can already feel that it's way more usable now. But probably not everybody's gonna be a fan of the very calm handling of this engine at low speeds. They have changed over 20 things, I think. The engine is a bit higher, so the engine is a bit more agile at low speeds. Everything is good. Everything is good about this motorcycle. But its character has been changed. It's now a bit more of a mainstream machine. BMW probably said, well, an old GS rider is probably going to buy the new one anyways, so now we have an even bigger market for us to potentially get. We still have the advantages of the Telelever Evo. And I have to say, I didn't quite trust the motorcycle for most of the day. I didn't want to push it into the corners. But then, finally, I started trusting the motorcycle, and then I enjoyed it so much. It's such a great machine. It has an insanely good handling. And the brakes are fantastic. You have so much grip in the front also. My leaning angles were 45 and 48 degrees, but it took me all day to reach the same riding angles that I achieved with the 1250 model. But I have to say, the motorcycle is more accessible. And that's because of the engine. Because they changed the center of mass. And so I think, or I don't think, it is fact that this motorcycle is easier to move in a roundabout at low speeds. And 2024, it's going to be even more accessible because of this adaptive height control and the variable seat heights, which also changes the seat height while riding. So they maybe manage to address an even bigger market share. There are two aspects that the community didn't like. I saw it in the comments, in the videos, in our YouTube videos. And on one aspect, I have to say, yes, you're right. On the other hand, I have to defend the BMW one. Some say, yes, the new front, it doesn't look like an enduro machine anymore. The new frame, I don't know, it lost all of its angles. Don't fear, everybody. I talked to Rainer Fring, the father of the GS, and I need to say he's right. We have already read a lot of comments about our GS. I am not going to talk about the positive ones because there are too many. I'll have to ask you about the negative ones. Many people fear that the motorcycle has become a more street-oriented or a too street-oriented motorcycle. And also it lost its frame. What can you say to these people? Is it still an enduro machine or is it a road machine? It's more than an enduro motorcycle. It's more enduro than ever before. On one hand, you have the new appearance. Something that is nice to look at also feels good, right? The ergonomics feel very well. You sit on it and you instantly feel well. You don't have a lot of angles. When you use this motorcycle off-road, you will find that it's ergonomically much easier to handle. It's also much easier to handle because of the concentration of mass. This is more GS than ever before, but you have... Many people say, the old frame was so indestructible, but this is something new. How many times have you thrown it around? Is it still as indestructible as before? This indestructible thing about the old 1250, that is something we tried to manage, we tried to replicate with this motorcycle as well. And we did. We said, when we develop this motorcycle, we want to use all of our GS experiences that we have gathered over the course of the last 43 years, in which we manufactured motorcycles with which you could travel the world. And we did. We changed a few things. We changed the frame, the main frame, but also the rear frame. We're looking into the future. We made a step into the future. The frame that we chose in the front gives us so many more possibilities that the old frame didn't give us. And the same goes for the tail frame, the rear frame. When will have to prove itself for the customers, but we did everything we could to replicate but we did everything to guarantee the same ruggedness of the old GS in the new GS. This motorcycle feels very modern. When I move this bike, I can really feel what Rainer said. There's nothing in the way. The design is very smooth. And I have a front which is more compact. And I have to admit, the old one, I've seen it enough. And I'm glad that the new one looks different. There is something that I share with the community. And that would be the critique about the connectivity, the integration of the phone, the display. BMW is so far ahead. But the last puzzle piece would have been the perfect integration of the phone with iOS and Android. Don't get me wrong, it works very well, but this last puzzle piece is missing. We have here this phone holder, which doesn't really protect it from vibrations or anything else. And then you obviously can close it and connect the screen with the Bluetooth, and it works very well. And the BMW connected app works very well, 10 times better than everything others can offer, with one exception. And then I can have my navigation here. But why can I not open Kalimoto? Why can I not open Google Maps? But well, you have rivals that offer this, but that don't have this easy-to-use setup, like the Africa Twin. In the other models, the K and RT models, you have these maps integrated. Would have been great if we had it on the GS as well. They really lost their pole position here. BMW uses a logic when it comes to usability of all the haptics. Everything is pretty easy to use, you don't have too many buttons. You have this new multi-switch where you can set your favorite feature to, and then you can use the you can put your traction control or your heated grips over there and just press the button and turn them on and off. The rest is about the same as with the old one, and let's leave it with that, otherwise this video is going to be way too long. We planned a lot of GS videos. I would have loved to say this is the new benchmark for everybody, it's a perfect motorcycle. If only the ABS worked a bit better, and well, when it comes to the suspension, I would say that in comparison to its rivals, it's not perfect. Obviously, the engine is very, very good, a great development, but this finesse that I have with other manufacturers, I don't have it here. When riding it very fast, you have these movements that you can't get rid of. Whatever mode you're using, whatever settings of the suspensions you choose, the personalization for me was too little, and the responsiveness of the suspension was too little. Tomorrow I will ride this bike off-road, try out the suspension, which is 20 millimeters higher, but my intuition says that the Showa system of the Africa Twin or the early system of the Multistrada, when it comes to finesse and precision, work better. Nevertheless, to be frank, we're gonna plan a great comparison between motorcycles, all of the motorcycles in this category, and we're gonna rank them for you. In the end, it's gonna come down to your personal preferences, but I'm already excited to find out who's gonna be the winner. But there's one thing we really have to appreciate. The possibilities that you get with this motorcycle is insane. There are so many possibilities: windshield, seating position, suspension, luggage. This range of motorcycles has been widened even more. In 5 years, on the used market, it's probably going to be difficult to find a GS exactly as you want it. But there's one more thing I have to say. You have to appreciate this luggage system. This must seem like the most innovative thing ever. You have keyless system. You have a keyless luggage system of the luggage system and the top case. Then you have variable storage space. You have a charging cable, a charging plug inside. And then when you open the case, you have light. You have a light inside which shines in the darkness. And then you're gonna tell everybody at night who's finicking around with their keys and trying to open their luggage that you have the best luggage system in the world. My configuration was probably a weird one for you guys. Most of you are gonna probably choose the luggage system, the entire one. And I know some of you say, this bike looks so street-oriented. But I think the look is way cleaner, more modern. And I also think that because of the adventure model that's gonna come in the future, you will have even more possibilities of personalizing your GS. And then everybody will be happy. Even those who wear the high visibility vest are almost 7 feet tall and have a huge beer belly. Guys, there's one thing I forget. There's one thing I forgot. I said, no. Guys, so the brakes are fantastic. The suspension is fantastic. What did I miss? Did I miss something? I think I missed something. Oh, the quick shifter. The quick shifter is absolutely great. The quick shifter, when shifting down from the 6th to the 1st, it works perfectly. Absolutely perfectly. Very precise. Also, into the 1st gear, I have to say, it works very well. But I don't know if it's because of my pedicure, but when it comes to shifting up, you need to push a little bit harder. Some motorcycles, some bikes make it a bit easier to shift upwards, but it's still very, very good. So, alright guys, I have some homework for you guys. I want to see you like this video. My cameraman is sweating like a pig. I see a lake of water beneath him. We are giving everything that we can. So I want you guys to like this video and subscribe this video. You don't know how bad I feel about these 350,000 subscribers. I need 500,000. I need it for my ego. So I want you guys to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. You don't have to comment, but let me know what GS configuration you opt for and how much it costs. Thank you very much for everything and see you next time on 1000ps.com.